Okay, time on the show to turn our attention to the Northern Premier League Premier Division, and we've got an exclusive player interview now for Matlock Town, and we'll be now speaking to goalkeeper Jim Pollard. Jim, thanks for coming back onto the show. How are you tonight?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. All good. Bit cold. Just been training in the wind and the rain, and glad to be back in my warm house now.
Yeah, can
So,
imagine. Can imagine. It's been a bit rough outside tonight. Yeah. So Jim, we've got plenty to talk to you about, just in regards to Matlock and also about yourself as well. So
mhm,
first of all, let's just go back to the last game that you played yourself, and that
mhm.
was the 3-2, very eventful 3-2 victory away at Stalybridge in the
Yeah.
NPL Premier Division. So Matlock went 3-0 up, seemed to be absolutely coasting, and then it got to 3-2, and it was your good self that kind of rescued Matlock at the end to make sure that you held on to get all 3 points. Just
Mm.
how big a win was that for the club, and what do you remember of the save and or saves that you made right at the end of injury time?
Yeah, I think obviously tough place to go, especially on a Tuesday night. Any midweek away game's never easy. I think we picked up some good points away from home on the midweekers, like Namwich the other week was a great result, and I think Stalybridge the other night, last week, whatever it was also good. They're just tough places to go. I'll be honest. Low crowds, not great pitches. Not slagging off any of the clubs, but yeah, the pitches at this time of year have taken a bit of a hammering, and I think the performance against Stalybridge that I obviously played in was brilliant first half. Brilliant for 60 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes just took our foot off the gas a bit, and that's why they ended up creeping back into the game. Obviously, I pulled the save off near the end. They missed a couple of chances. The back lads did great, heading balls out the box, clearing balls out the box. But inevitably, I think we just didn't punish them enough. We could have scored 5 or 6, but because we didn't punish them, I think we gave them a bit of a chance to get back in the game with two good strikes. But yeah, like I say, just the main thing was just getting the points. It is frustrating at the time when you've come off the pitch thinking, how have we almost lost that or how have we almost drawn that? But like by the time to come into the game on Saturday that's just been, we was like just buzzing to get 3 points and the win, really.
Yeah, did you receive at the end of that? Did you receive plenty of pats on the back after that save at the end? 'Cause I know it, I know it got reported it was a wonder double save. Apparently, it may have just been one single,
Yeah, no,
but very good
it
save.
just
But yeah, what do you remember from it?
like I say, because of because of how we actually finished the game, there was very little praise after from players and management from anyone to anyone because we were so frustrated with how we actually almost threw the game away. And then we're obviously back in the day after the training, so it was also sort of like get out mentality, take the points and get back to Matlock. It's frustrating, but it is what it is, and build on it against Hyde on Saturday, which I know I didn't play, but was another point against a team that's at the top of the table. So it's just sort of 10 games to go. Just got to keep building on things and try and get into the playoffs if we can.
Great stuff. And just speaking about Matlock's most recent game, you didn't play in that yourself, and we'll come on to that shortly. But just in terms of that game and what happened on the pitch, it was a 1-1 draw against Hyde United, who are having a really good season themselves. Did you think Matlock deserved all 3 points? How much of a sickener was it to concede right towards the end of the game?
Um, I think I think effort levels were there Saturday. Um, we probably should have been 2-0 up and out of sight, like the gaffer mentioned in his interview with the Slewy chance. It's just I think it's come a bit awkward at him, and I don't think he quite reacted. I don't think he thought the keeper was going to drop it, but it's kind of slipped under the keeper, and then it's just like somehow not got in. I don't really know what's happened, but when they went down to 10 men, they actually started playing better for some reason. They almost had it where they were just taking more risks and getting on the ball more. And I think one of the problems we have had this season, and it's not just under these managers, it's been a sort of thing, a current thing that's happened all year, is when we do score, we can tend to sit back a bit. And I think the first time against we haven't done that was Staley Bridge, but then even then, like when we're 3-0 up, we just I don't know, we sort of have the mentality of we scored, so we can just sit back and defend. Where I think sometimes that can just invite a lot of pressure on, which is obviously what happened Saturday, where Hyde ended up finishing the game stronger. But like I say, to take a point and not lose, I think in the grand scheme of things is a good result. To answer your question about whether we deserve to take all three, I don't know if we created enough to necessarily do so. And I think Hyde, to be fair, actually turned the game around. So credit to both teams.
Yeah. Now, as we sort of alluded to just recently, so you didn't play in that game against Hyde. So, in terms of what's been happening recently at the club, so Sol Dini, a very
Mm.
experienced goalkeeper, I think he's 39, I think it is, has played
Yeah.
in the EFL for a number of years earlier in
Mm.
his career.
Mm.
So since he's come in, he's played the vast majority of games for Matlock since he arrived at the club around about a couple of months ago. And
Mm.
just first of all, Jim, like how tough is it? Sort of, have you ever been in a position before at a club where you're sort of like you're in a battle to sort of reclaim the number one jersey? What is sort of that experience like? Is it just you're accepting that it's just that is part of the game? Sometimes you might be dropped and you just have to work harder to win your place back. What's it like for you?
Yeah, I think I have experienced it before. It's not easy. I think a lot of it's down to opinions, and I think that's totally fair enough. I think whether as a manager you've got to pick an 11, and it's especially with the position of a goalkeeper, it's probably more about sort of who you trust and who you can rely on more so than how you're actually playing, because a lot of time a keeper might not have much to do in a game, but it's that one moment or that concentration thing that people speak about. And I just think right now the manager potentially sees Sol better in that position, and that, that's fair enough. That's just how football is. I think that's not to say I won't get another chance. That's not to say I won't play again for Matlock this season. I think there's a strong chance I will, but I've just got to, if I'm in the team, I think my main aim is I'm looking at it from a team perspective, not so much individual, because everyone loves to judge keepers on keeping clean sheets and keep a clean sheet, like, oh, you keep your shirt. But for me, I think if you're winning games, then teams, should naturally stay as they are. But I understand there's injuries, and I understand against bigger teams you might, perceived to be not as bigger teams, you might rest your players, your stronger players, and bring them back in for the bigger games. And I think maybe that's probably what just happened on Saturday, which is just how it is, and it's how it goes. It's nothing personal against the gaffer or Sol. I think since Sol's come in, got on really well. We've got a great sort of GK union with Schutz and Dylan, the young lad, and Palms when he's in. So there's been about four of us, which is with Schutz as well, which has just been really good in training and match days. So, there's 10 games to go. I think we're all under the impression that we're all going to play a part, whether we're playing or not. So that's the attitude I'm sort of taking on the whole situation.
Yeah, really interesting to get your own personal insight into that, because I know it has been a topic of discussion amongst some Matlock fans online on a few social media platforms. But in terms of the remainder of the season, are you confident that you will get at least another opportunity where you can get a game in again, and if you play well, you can keep that jersey again for a little while longer?
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the aim. That's like what you work for. That's what you work towards. Sort of, I'd love to finish the season strong and get a new deal and stay here. And that's obviously what I'm after. That's what I'm trying to do. But I know that there's the chance that might not happen. And if so, it's nothing personal. It's just how football works. You see a lot of comings and goings. But for me, I just think there's 10 games to go. Anything can happen. I got sent off at Gainsborough. People get sent off. People get injured. I obviously hope that doesn't happen to anyone in our team, but it does happen in football. And I think I'm just working hard in training, working hard in the gym, keeping level headed, and just making sure that if that chance does come again, like he did at South Shields, like he did at Staley Bridge, I just play well, the team wins, and I obviously hope I keep my shirt. And if we get into the playoffs, even better. So that's sort of would be an added bonus, and playing in the playoffs if possible.
Yeah, so speaking of the playoffs, then, so Matlock not in the top five at the moment, but they're not far off. But that's the case for a lot of teams. It's incredibly tight, and it has been all season. There's not many points that really separate sort of like third down to about 12th still at the moment. How confident are you that Matlock can be, at least consistent within these last 10 games of the regular season, and they can finish in the top five for the second season in a row? How confident are you that they can do that?
I think we've got a great chance. I think we've got a really good chance. I think looking at our games, we've looked at it earlier. I think like when some of the lads were talking in the changing room and stuff like that, they're running to the final game of the season. We've got like 5 of our away games against, 3 of them are against, or 4 of them, sorry, are against teams in the bottom half of the table that are sort of fighting for relegation. So that's like the sort of games you want. They're going to be taking it to us, but we're also going to be going there with the hope that we're going to win. And then 5 home games. I think our home form's been pretty consistent. We've always feel extra confident at home in front of that big crowd. And I think like the gaffer mentioned today, 10 games to go. Just give it everything we've got. The target is to get X amount of points that we feel is going to be enough to get us through. And I think if we do, then anything can happen in the playoffs. As you've seen last year with Warrington beating South Shields, like it's just playoff football. You don't know who you're going to draw against, and you don't know what's going to happen. But I think there's a strong chance that come the final game of the season, we'll definitely be in the mix.
Yeah, just how much of you are you enjoying playing for Matlock Town? Because I know it's made huge strides in the past couple of years with how much it's doing as sort of like a community club, not just
Yeah,
what it does on the pitch. How much do you enjoy being at Causeway Lake?
yeah, no, I love it. I love how close it is. Obviously, I was at Grantham last year, so that was quite far. But yeah, I love playing in front of the big crowds. I've loved the fans, like the lads in the changing room of class. I know there's been 3 managers, whatever, this year, and there's been a lot of comings and goings. But one thing I will say about the current managers that we've got now is like this has probably been the best changing room that we've had all season. Like the mentality obviously has got better, and then also the social side of it where people are getting more involved and there's just a bit more togetherness in the dressing room, which I think we haven't had so much under recent, well, predecessors, should I say. So yeah, obviously it's something very enjoyable at the minute. Like I say, I'm not playing, so I'm a little bit frustrated about that, as people can probably expect, as anyone would be. But I know that I feel like I'll get another chance, and if I do, then yeah, I can't see why I wouldn't enjoy playing again for the club.
Yeah, great stuff, Jim. And just finally, then a quick look at Matlock's next game. So that's this coming Saturday, and you're at home
Yeah,
at Proctor Cars Stadium against Ashton United in the league. Now, Ashton had a really good sort of first third of the league. They were in the top two, I think, for quite a lot of that, but they've really dipped since then. How important is this game for the club to get 3 points to consolidate where they are now to try and get back into a top five place?
yeah, it's massive. I think every game from now to the end of the season is just massive. It's just like there's no margin for error. Like the pressure will be on, and you've just got to go into every game wanting to win and expecting to win, especially the home games. And I really don't see, why we can't. Like I said, obviously looking at the running, we've got some sort of games on paper that we should be winning, and the home games we always back ourselves. I know we've got, you should say on paper, a tough game against South Shields, who are top coming soon. But apart from that, there's no reason why we can't go and take maximum points from these last 10 games.
Okay. Well, fantastic stuff, Jim. Really good insight into what's happening at the club right now at the moment. And of course, Matlock are in a really promising position as well for the remainder of this season. So thanks for your time, Jim, and best of luck for the rest of the season. And hopefully we'll be in touch again soon. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Thank you, mate. Catch up soon.